Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm going to detail the story of Peewee from the Fruittown Brims. Peewee was born Kasim Knox and would grow up in South Central. He would live the early portion of his life living in the Black Peastone's turf. He would go to schools like Hillcrest and Audubon, but his life was severely changed after the death of his older brother, who was killed by the police. This changed Peewee's life in a negative way and sent him down the wrong path in life. His mother was a strong woman who took care of 4 kids and gave them everything they needed. Unlike most kids, Peewee even had his father in his life, and none of his family were gang members. So the life that Peewee would later live in the future would be the complete opposite of what was going on inside his home. Even though he would live in BPS turf and later Inglewood, Peewee would get familiar with the Fruittown Brims after meeting a few members, and he even started hanging out with the crowd and the older members of the Fruittown Brims, and he later became an official member of the gang. Even if he had to travel far just to be with his gang, that's what he would do often. He even would do things like taking buses just to go to his hood. The Brims consisted of 3 different sets under the Brim umbrella, being Fruittown, Finesse, and Harvard Park, which all 3 gangs have a strong relationship with each other, and also to their allies like the Rolling 20 Bloods and BPS. Their cliques consist of 35th Street, 36th Street, 37th Street, and 38th Street, but they will also have several rivals, like gangs like the Rolling 30 Crips and the Rolling 40 Crips. Peewee died in the streets early on and would be in and out of jail. Even at an early age, he would appear in the documentary Bloods and Crips Made in America. As a teenager, in the years followed, Peewee would become a hardened gang member, involved in a lot, and was a young frontliner in his set, and gained a daily reputation. Peewee, along with other young active members of the Fruittown Brims, would make a clique within their gang, called the infamous Gangster Bloods, also known as just IGB, which was a young crew full of active gang members, known for putting in work, and many members from that crew, like G Active, would get life in prison. Peewee would go through a lot of trials and tribulations, which included him getting shot and a lot of jail time, but a lot more would come. Whitney York, a 32-year-old black man, was shot and killed on March 31st, 2017, in the 3100 block at 8th Avenue in Jefferson Park. Whitney was sitting in a folding chair in front of his home with a friend when 3 men walked up and fired multiple gunshots at Whitney, striking him. The suspects then fled on foot. Whitney was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. Whitney was allegedly a member of the Rolling 30 Crips. June 29th, 2017, while trying to serve a warrant, officers spotted one of the suspects driving off in a car. This prompted a chase. The suspect fled from his vehicle armed with a handgun, and then a gunfight ensued between the individual and the pursuing officers, resulting in one of the SWAT officers being shot in the hip, and the individual who was wanted for murder also received gunshot wounds. The suspect was Peewee, and the craziest thing about this whole situation was that Peewee recorded the shootout with the police on Facebook Live. He would survive the shooting and be taken into custody.
A gun battle with LAPD streamed live. A murder suspect on the run shows the hail of bullets on Facebook.
NBC4's Robert Kovacic joins us live in El Segundo right now with that new video and new developments. Robert?
Colleen and Chuck, first of all, a note to our viewers, this video may be tough for some to watch. We are talking about a homicide suspect who was suddenly willing to put residents who live in this gated community at risk, as well as a number of police officers. A homicide suspect who was carrying a handgun as well as a cell phone, streaming it live, talking to his family.
Peewee was 25 at the time, and was charged with 5 counts of each of attempted murder of a police officer and also assault of a police officer with a semi-automatic firearm, 4 counts of possession of a firearm by a felon, and 2 counts of unlawful possession of ammunition, and 1 count of each of shooting at an inhabited dwelling and shooting at an occupied motor vehicle, plus the shooting of Whitney. Peewee would later be sentenced to life for all the crimes he committed. Peewee was a case of decisions of what you could have avoided, but you chose on your own. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.